Hey guys, welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about all the books that I read 5 stars in 2024. Previously, I have been very loose with my 5-star ratings, but I have learned that not everything deserves 5-star. If it feels like it's not a 5-star, it's most likely not a 5-star. I don't know how many 5 stars I've given out, but it's been a lot less than it was previous years. So the first 5-star, these are not in particular order, these are just like the way the list is, but my first 5-star is The Fake Out by Miss Stephanie Archer. I loved it. I love a good like fake dating, marriage convenience. This was a fake dating book. The hockey romance. I was in my hockey romance era for like the last 2 or 3 months of 2024, but this is fake dating. It's her rival. She actually hates this guy because of something he did in high school, but girl, he was a kid. And her ex ends up going into the hockey team that she works for. So she tells him, since you hate him and I hate him, let's just fake date and, you know, make him jealous. Next we have Bonds of Cupidity by Raven Kennedy. I have never read a Raven Kennedy book, but I ended up reading the first one, which I think is Signs of Cupidity, on accident because it was on my Kindle and I got it for stuff for Kindle Day, and I was like, I just need to get rid of it, let me just read it. Obsessed with the entire series, read the entire series, but this is the one I gave 5 stars because the first 4 books, or like 3.5 books, all are about the same people, the same group. She's a Cupid. These guys are part of a covey, so they are like not brothers by any means, but they've all formed like their covey, their coven, and they have to find one mate. And she's not the same species as them, so it's kind of a little unorthodox, but it was so good. It was so confusing. Like the first one I was obsessed with, and then the second one I was like, wait, because they solidified their bond. It's so much going on that it was just like, sometimes it was too much, sometimes it wasn't, but this book was really fun to read. It was really quick too, especially coming off of the first book. First book was off on a cliffhanger, and then we went to the second book and all hell broke loose. Absolutely loved it. Next we have Power Play by Chelsea Curito. I think that's how you say it. I loved it. This is another kind of fake dating, but marriage convenience at the same time. She is a reporter. He is a hockey player who basically hates reporters. He hates reporters because he had a bad experience with one, never went to date with them, but he always saw her and thought that she was like nice and pretty, and you know, and she was like, he's grumpy, he hates me or whatever. They get drunk, go to Vegas, get married. She had just gotten a divorce recently too. She was like, no, I can't be married, I can't do this. He was like, no, just like, we can do this, we can just see how this fake marriage, fake dating works, and at the end of this, then maybe we can stay, maybe we can't. They ended up staying married. Another hockey romance, but there was just something about it that was just like, he is so sweet. He's like a giant teddy bear to her, but hates. It's like Grumpy Sunshine, but he's not really that grumpy. Like, come on. Next we have Saved by Her Boss, which is a novella. I rarely give novellas 5 stars, but you know it's a good book when you want 300 pages of it. If you want it to be a longer book, it's boss and like business manager, and she wants to grow. He's like, I'm gonna protect you. It's the alpha male like protective in him, and it was so cute and I loved it. And I was like, I just need it to be longer. I wish it was like an extra 100 pages. I think that it was literally 100 and something pages, or like 90 something pages. I was like, I need at least 300 pages because I need to see how their dynamic will work and how this will change him and change her and how the relationship will work without the third act breakup. That's what I would have wanted, but I don't know. It was really good and I had fun reading it. Next we have Lost and Lassoed. I love every single one. Lost and Lassoed, Done and Dusted, and Switched and Saddled, top 10. Love the writing. So much fun to read. I knew from the first book that Gus and Teddy were going to be together. I knew it. They're like classic older, or I think she's a only child, but like classic older and only child people, they always think they have to take care of everyone. He ended up taking care of each other, especially with Gus having a kid. Like, he was like, I'm protective, I'm gonna take care of everyone, I'm gonna take care of the farm, take care of dad, take all of this. It was so nice to see Teddy take care of him and him take care of Teddy, especially with her going through everything that she was going through. Loved it, loved it. And since we're talking about Lost and Lassoed, Swifty Saddle is another 5-star that I gave out this year. Like, I don't know, how does Lila Sage write such good books? It's actually amazing. City Girl and Cowboy. Love a good cowboy romance. Love a good cowboy romance. There was just something at the beginning of the book I was like, yeah, I'm gonna like this. I'm gonna like this. I didn't know who she was. She didn't know who he was. But they were going to work together anyway because she was like a interior designer and he was trying to create like this nice guest house farm for him and his family's B&B. And they met one night, flirted, kissed, and then went their separate ways and found out they were together. And he was like, I want her. I want her. She was like, no, I can't. He can't have me. No, I'm only here for a little bit. But again, they fell in love. Who knew? Who knew? Next we have a photo finish by Elsie Silver. Elsie Silver, anything. I have literally all of her books are right here. All of her books are right here. I have everything by her. Love it. Love her writing. They're so cute. And the way that it's like not forbidden. What do I mean forbidden? It's not forbidden. I think she kind of hated him though. But they were like talking on this app but didn't know who they were until he found a picture, and they gave us a little bit of a snippet of it at the end of I think it's Off to the Races. They gave us a little bit of a snippet of it and I was like, wait, because now I have to read this. The dynamic between the two are really funny. Banter, really funny. Low-key like grumpy, but it's a little bit of grumpy sunshine. Just a little bit. But I feel like they're just both grumpy, honestly, because I just feel like she's like, I don't care, and he's like, I don't care, but he really likes her and she likes him. But just like, it's so awkward. Like, what do you do? This one was actually a reread that I already gave. I gave if I could, I would have gave it a 5 stars again. Wildfire. That's all I have to say. Wildfire. I reread it and I was like, because I felt like I was missing things. Not missing things, because Daydream had just came out. I was like, let me just reread all of the books. I also reread Icebreaker. So Icebreaker and Wildfire, 5 stars. Always. Daydream, 5 stars. I'm talking about Daydream because I'm already talking about these, but Daydream I also gave a 5 star. I love it. Low-key represents me because it's curvy girl, loves books, likes Taylor Swift. Like, I'm scared to start my own book club because I feel like I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, but it's okay. I had a lot of fun reading that book. It was just like, damn, is that me? Is that me in a different font? Like, why? And then he was so sweet and so understanding, and the communication was there. Being able to like find each other's needs and want to give each other space, it's something so uncommon, and I absolutely loved it. Next we have Don't Let Me Fall. Don't Let Me Fall by Kelsey Ray. I was a little skeptical. I did buy all of the books because I was like, everyone kept talking about it, like, just read it, just read it. And I read it and I gave it a 5 star. It was so close to being a 4 because when I first read it, I was like, there's just something missing. Like, it just was a 4. Maybe 2 or 3 days later, I changed it to a 5 because it was really funny. Like, the banter was there. It's like Friend's ex, the male character's best friend, cheated on the girl. Everyone knew, but her. And he was like, I have to tell her. Like, I need to let her know that you're cheating on her. And I'm going to put her first. And she becomes a steward after. And it was just whirlwind craziness. But he gave her space and, like, waited for her. And that's something, like, I love in books. I love that in books. Communication is, like, the biggest green flag for any book, no matter dark romance, fantasy, anything. It's the biggest green flag. Next we have Wild Eyes. I loved Wild Eyes. I love Elsie Silver again. I love Wild Eyes. Single dad. I love a good single dad. It has to be written right. It has to be written out. So, single dad, pop star. She's coming to record her album after a scandal. She wants to change it up. She wants to be somebody who's not controlled by anybody else. And she meets Weston. Weston's son does not speak to a lot of people. So as soon as he's seen her and got comfortable around her, he started yapping, and I loved it. And I was like, that means she has a good soul. And I loved it so much more than Wild Love. Like, their Wild Love was good, but Wild Eyes, again, it's a 5-star. Like, that's all I have to say. Next we have Wrote Me In, which is by Kayla Gross. I never know how to say her name. I think it's Gross or Gross. I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. But have I talked about this? I don't think I've talked about the first book, Wrote Me In, which is also 5-star, but I don't know if I read that this year or last year. Wrote Me In is the second book in that series. Brother, which is Cade, and the FMC is Presley, named after Elvis Presley. So funny. Cade was just all over the place, had so many bad things happen to him and happen to like his family. He just felt like he was like the worst of the worst. Presley moved into that town. She used to be in a band, and her ex kicked her out, and then she moved. Like, she was like, I can't do this anymore, like, we're done. He's trying to be better. He's trying to get out of the slump of like drinking, because his father was an alcoholic who died an alcoholic, and the dynamic was really sweet, something I wasn't expecting, and I really liked. This is more of a first proximity than it is anything else, because Kayla writes mostly plus-sized girly books, and it's just so refreshing. Next we have Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Last year was the only year that I've never read anything else by Ali Hazelwood, but I did read 2 of her books, which was Bride and The Love Hypothesis. Bride first. Bride was a 5-star for me. I am not used to the shapeshifter era of books. I've never really been into that era of books, but I was like, it's Ali Hazelwood, and everyone kept talking about how good it was. Specifically, Heather on YouTube. Love her, and I love her reviews, and she said it was good, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna sit down here and read it. I actually ended up reading it in a 24-hour vlog, and it was just so fun. I've never been into that like category, that trope of like shapeshifters, but it was arranged marriage, and I love arranged marriage. Or basically forced proximity, 2 different species. Everyone hated her and her own species, and everyone pretty much kind of hated her and his species as well. I mean, it's kind of obvious. She ended up being his mate, which is weird because they're 2 like vampires and werewolves. Like, how? But it was really fun. I had a lot of fun reading that book. Go watch that video for more like in depth, because it's the first book that I read by her. Then I was like, oh my god, Ali Hazelwood knows how to write. And then I read Love Hypothesis, which was also a 5-star. I was surprised because it's a STEM book. So they were talking a lot about medical and like biology, and it's fake dating. That's another reason why I give it 5 stars. Fake dating is my favorite trope. I'm gonna say that a lot in this video, but it is. She wrote it right. And the fact that he's actually had feelings for her the entire time and she never noticed is crazy. 2 main characters met 3-ish or something 4 years ago in the book, and he remembered her voice and she kind of remembered his, but not that much because she was a little drunk and a little bit nervous. So she didn't remember, but they ended up finding out that it was the same person, and it was so cute. I love fake dating. It's something about fake dating that is just chef's kiss. Next we have Face Off by Chelsea Kirito. I never know if I say her name right. I'm so sorry. Another hockey romance. We were in our hockey romance or cowboy sports romance era last year, and Face Off was forced proximity, like enemies with benefits, teammates, a little bit of everything. She was the first NHL hockey, like woman hockey player, and he was resident F-boy of the team, and she was like, I don't want to be with you, I don't even like you. And they were like, he's like, I don't like you either, let's be enemies with benefits, let's just get it out of our system because we flirt a lot and it's just too much. Like, let's just do one and done. It wasn't one and done, and they ended up breaking it off for a little bit, and he was like, damn, I kind of miss her, and she's like, damn, I kind of miss him. And then they got together, and they were still like, they ended up becoming from enemies to benefits to friends with benefits to lovers. So yeah, fun. We have Off to the Races and Out of the Gates. I didn't get the separate book for Out of the Gate. I don't know if there's a second book, but I know there's a different cover. But when I got Off to the Races, the actual book, it had the second book in it. So we're gonna talk about them both together because I read them both together. I read Chestnut Springs before I read Gold Rush Ranch, and I think in Powerless they talk about the Gold Rush Ranch because the character's sister, because like all the Chestnut Springs characters' sister lives on Gold Rush Ranch. I think it's just the second book, Violet. I think it's the second book. I'm pretty sure it's the second book. She was there to help train the horses for racing, for like, you know, go to the track and bet and almost. So she was there to train, and he was the owner and hated her from the beginning. And she was like, you don't even know me. Calm down. And you know how that goes. The banter. Low-key enemies to lovers. The I really like you but I really hate you kind of thing. And he was like, I'm only gonna be here for a little bit just to help and then leave, and like I'll be done, I don't have to worry about it. But he couldn't tell if he wanted her or he hated her, which I really like that dynamic. Makes for a very interesting book, honestly. And Out of the Gate is basically just how his grandparents met, why the ranch is called what it's called, and it was fun. I just liked it. It's cute. It's a novella. Not that long. I reread Reckless. I reread Reckless because I hated pregnancy tropes, but now I love them because of Reckless. Reckless was the first pregnancy trope that I read that I didn't hate. Like I read one other pregnancy trope and I DNF'd it because it was like it was giving off weird vibes, and I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna like this. But then I read Reckless and I was like, that's my favorite book out of the entire Chestnut Springs series, and I was like, yep, love it. Theo, I think people have heard of it. Like if you've seen that expert, I literally read it because the expert said, I think I'm in love with your sister-in-law, and he barked at her. They have a one-night stand to get it out of their system. She gets pregnant. She texts him, but he doesn't know that she texts him, and he goes months without seeing her pregnant, without seeing the birth, and then he finds out that she's pregnant. He goes crazy because he really thinks that she hid it from him on purpose, and she didn't, but it was cute. It was adorable. Loved it. Next we have King of Sloth by Miss Anna Huang. Loved. I love anything Anna writes. I've said this multiple times, but I love anything that Anna writes. This book was probably my favorite of the series so far, only because it didn't end like a normal romance usually ends, because it either ends with a baby, a marriage, or both. That's really, I feel like any time I read a romance book, it's how it ends. This one didn't, and it was really fun, and they ended up getting a puppy though. She was his publicist. He was like this resident, rich, famous, like, you know, and he said, if we go on a trip, I will uphold my image. They went on a trip, some things happened, and they were together. And they were like, I don't know, I don't remember if there was a third eye breakup or not. There might have been, but I'm not sure. Next we have The Wrong Bride by Catherine Mora. I was on the floor with this book. On the floor. Because there was so much going on. The FMC of the book likes the MMC. The MMC likes the FMC's sister. And they were supposed to get married. The sister is trying to become an actress and like be in that world, and the only reason she was with the guy was because she loved him, but his family owns studio, movies, all that stuff, TV shows, and she wanted to be an actress. And she kept pushing back the wedding. She's like, I just want to focus on my acting, like, can we just pause? And they were like, no, someone needs to marry him. Since the sister liked him first and she was originally supposed to be married to him, but he fell in love with the other sister, she was like, it's fine. So now the MMC is forced to marry the FMC, and he turns into, oh my gosh, like, you're the wrong, I was not supposed to marry you, da da da, to watch how you talk to my wife. Watch how you talk to my wife. The whiplash between those two, I was like, wait. And then I hate her family. I've never wanted to punch a person so much in my life than the mother in that book. Absolutely wild. The lighting's gonna change because I'm like filming in front of my window and the sun is just going in and out a lot right now. Next we have Chaos by Luna Mason. Again, Luna Mason, I can read any of her books. Chaos was another surprise pregnancy trope. This is a dark romance. She was going to marry his long lost brother. He didn't even know he had a brother. He just found out he had a brother. But she was supposed to marry his long lost brother. She found out the brother cheated. She ran away. They never met each other. So she was on the way to the wedding. She ran. He helped her run. They had a one-night stand. She got pregnant. He moved because one of his friends died in the previous books. So he moved to Vegas. Months later, she moved to Vegas. They met each other again. He found out that she had a daughter. And he was there constantly. He was not like, as soon as he found out, he was like, I'm gonna be here. I don't care if I'm in the mafia. You have protection. You will be like, you're gonna be my entire world. And I love it. Next we have I Like You Like That. This one is also by Kayla and pop star bodyguard. They were friends, childhood crushes. I think she let him know that she liked him. He was like, no. But it was because of his home life. It wasn't like because he didn't like her. He liked her, but it was because of his home life. He was like, no, you can't be like, I can't be with you. Like, he made it seem like he didn't like her in the same way. So then they separated. She needs a bodyguard. He ended up being placed with her. She didn't know who he was. Like, she didn't know who the bodyguard was at first, but he ended up being placed with her while she went on this world tour. And he's been telling her like, I did have feelings for you. It was just so much stuff going on at home. I just didn't feel like it was gonna be the right time. So like, let's try this. She was like, no, you broke my heart. I ended up trying it anyway, but it was so cute and I loved it. I was like, oh, yes. Next we have Say You Swear by Miss Megan Brandy. I was not prepared. I knew she had amnesia. And I was so scared for it to come up. Like, I was scared to figure out how and why she forgot who he was. And I was like, damn. So like the first half of the book is like them getting to know each other, kind of falling in love and everything. The accident happens and he's trying to be there for her and find another, like trying to get her to remember who he was and that she loved him. Because she goes back to the point where with her ex who cheated on her and told her like, you're nothing. Basically the ex wanted her back and he was like, I'm gonna take her back. I'm not even gonna let her know that this is not actually what's going on, but I'm going to tell her I want her. I was like so confused. I was like, just pick him. Like, he's there for you, he's helping you, he's teaching her how to cook and everything. And I was like, oh, just like, remember. I also reread Twisted Lies. Twisted Lies is literally, probably, if anyone asks me what my favorite book is, it's going to be Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I'm telling you now. I see so many different like alternate covers, special edition covers for Twisted Lies, and I need every single one of them. It's stalker vibes, but it's a good stalker vibes. Like, Christian Harper? Come on now. Can't even tell me you don't want him either. Next we also have another book by Luna Mason, Detained. Like, just a book before Chaos in a different series, but it's all interconnected. So the guy, the Jax, who's the main character of Chaos, also is in the other books, like the Detained, what is it, Distance, all those. He's also in those books as well. It's another mafia romance, but he falls in love with his kidnappee. So he kidnaps his rival's daughter, tells the rival that he killed the daughter, but he can't because he likes her. She likes to talk back and he loves it. So he's like, you know what, I'll just say that I killed you and then I'll let you go and you can live your life. Please check the trigger warnings. Because she was essayed as a teen by her uncle. I don't know if that's her actual uncle or not. It's absolutely crazy, but please check the trigger warnings because it might trigger you. Sorry. Out of about 80 books, I gave about 27 of them 5 stars. Just about 27. So that's less than 50% of my books were 5 stars, which is good because last year, like, almost all of my books were 5 stars. I just love reading. Like, just give them all 5 stars. Like, I feel bad giving them anything other than a 5 star, but I'm a little picky this year. And most of those 5 stars, like a good amount of those 5 stars are already rereads, so they're gonna be 5 stars regardless. So But I did end up changing my goal last year. My goal last year was to read 125 books, but because there was so much going on that I couldn't, I read only about 80 and I ended up changing it to 75. So I was like, I can read 75. So I went over 5 over my goal, which is I'm very proud and I'm very happy to say. But this year we're reading 100, maybe 110, because previous years I've been able to read 100 books, 100 plus books. So I'm like, we're gonna do 110 and I'm already well on my way into the year. It's only the first month. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.